name is Shauna Hunt, and I'm a registered dietitian at Bariatric Medical Institute, and I'm here to talk to you about food labels and how to read them and the types of information that I generally go through with clients. I've been here for about 4 years now, and I do a lot of one-on-one counseling about weight management and just basically helping people to develop tools to manage not only their lifestyle but also their weight in conjunction. So going into some of the finer details here as far as the specific numbers go, calories is, everybody needs a different amount of calories, so really it becomes a very personal decision how many calories are actually worth it for you in that particular serving size. I encourage people to use calories as their guide to determine their particular portion size that is going to be right for them. So there is no right portion size for somebody versus another person. It's really based off the calories. The amount of fat that is in something, again, that's also a personal decision as well. Going for higher fat items that are higher in the polyamino unsaturated fats is actually a real benefit to our heart health and actually helps to decrease risk of heart disease and gets us farther away from heart disease. Take for instance peanut butter. Peanut butter is actually a really good example of this because 8 grams of fat is in 1 tablespoon. Now the majority of the fat comes from the heart healthy type of fat, and we can tell that because there's 8 grams of fat in 1 tablespoon. There's only 1 gram of it coming from the saturated fat. So 8 minus 1 is 7. The rest of the 7 grams we can automatically assume that that comes from the heart healthy type of fat. The amount of cholesterol, well, if you have pre-existing diabetes, we do want to keep our cholesterol intake below 200 to 300 milligrams of cholesterol a day. Sodium, we only need about 1,500 milligrams of sodium in a day. One teaspoon of salt will contain 2,300 milligrams of sodium. So if we're trying to keep our sodium intake below 1,500, look for products that have less than 400 milligrams of sodium per serving for a meal and less than 200 milligrams of sodium per serving for a snack. Carbohydrates, if I'm counseling somebody for carbohydrate counting for diabetic management, I usually calculate a 40 to 45% of their calories coming from carbohydrates that is shown to have the best glycemic control as well as best hunger management as well. Fiber, the more fiber the better that we can get in. I mean, it's definitely going to reduce our risk of heart disease, decrease risk of colon cancer, bowel cancer, diverticulosis. It certainly has a lot of benefits in that. A typical North American diet supplies us with not enough fiber at all. Usually, 10 to 15 grams of fiber, whereas we need about 25 to 35 grams of fiber in a day. Sugar, for every 4 grams of sugar that's written on the label, we can equate that to 1 teaspoon of sugar. There isn't an amount that we need to stay under. We just need to be aware that the more sugar a food contains, the less nutritional value it's going to have. The higher it could elevate our blood sugars, the less of that food is actually going to be sustainable. So really when I'm counseling people about deciphering the amount of sugar, I suggest for them to say, okay, well, if this has 1 teaspoon of sugar, is that going to be okay? Is it okay if I have a little bit more, or could I keep it under that with choosing a different product? Protein, we're not looking, I actually don't encourage people to look for the highest protein bread or highest protein cereal or highest protein cereal that is, or pasta that is out there, because we want to rely on our grains and starches for the fiber content and for the vitamins and minerals that we don't get from some of our other food. Looking at the protein here, for every 6 to 7 grams of protein, that is considered about 1 serving of protein. The rest of the vitamins and minerals here that is written on the bottom of the label, that's again a very personal decision. If you're trying to get more calcium or more iron in your diet, then you can use those labels and decide how much is worth it. So when I'm going to be looking at labels, the top 5 things that I look for is, the first thing is the serving size, second things are calories, the third thing is where that fat comes from, not exactly how much fat is in that product, the amount of sodium and the amount of fiber and the amount of sugar that is in that.